A me mi rimangono 4 minuti di viaggio, quindi 100 foto, devo scaricare. Il benefit tutti e 4 i video belli non andavo a questo concerto, ma mandando io voglio avere anche il telefono, quindi il concerto.
Caitlin Clark has just stepped into Milan's most exclusive fashion event and taken a coveted front-row seat at Prada, not as a fortunate invitee, but as someone who truly earned her place through carefully curated style moments over the past 2 years. The fashion industry is paying close attention. Critics who once questioned her presence have gone silent. And the journey that led to this milestone is even more impressive than anyone anticipated. Do you believe Caitlin Clark is evolving into a fashion icon on the same level as her impact in basketball? Or is this only the beginning of something even bigger? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's break down what unfolded in Milan, because this moment deserves more than just a brief Instagram caption. It deserves a real conversation.
Caitlin Clark front row at the Prada show for Milan Fashion Week. Obviously, Caitlin Clark has been working with Prada.
Caitlin Clark attended the Prada Fall 2026 fashion show on February 26th and took her place in the front row. She was dressed entirely in Prada and carried herself with a confidence that made her presence feel completely natural. As expected, the internet erupted with reactions. But before diving into the buzz and analyzing what it all represents, it is important to rewind and tell the full story, because this moment was neither sudden nor accidental. The foundation for this chapter was laid in April 2024 on draft night. When Clark entered the arena as the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft, she was already delivering a statement that extended far beyond basketball. She arrived in a white Prada jacket layered over a shimmering silver Prada crop top, paired with a white Prada mini skirt and black pointed-toe Prada heels. The look was Prada from head to toe. On the orange carpet, she revealed to reporters that Prada had never previously custom-fitted an NBA or WNBA player for draft night. Not once. She was the first. Take a moment to consider that. One of the world's oldest and most respected luxury fashion houses, a brand that has styled celebrities, royalty, and cultural icons for more than a century, had never chosen to dress a professional basketball player for such an occasion. Then Caitlin Clark walked in and shifted that narrative. On the most significant night of her professional career, before logging a single minute in the WNBA, she had already made history in an entirely different sphere. Social media reacted instantly and intensely. Instagram comments echoed the same sentiment repeatedly. Caitlin Clark is so Prada, not simply that the outfit was beautiful or that she looked stylish, but that she embodied the brand itself, that the alignment between her identity and Prada felt authentic, seamless, and inevitable rather than strategic or transactional. That level of organic synergy between an athlete and a luxury fashion house is exceptionally rare, and Prada certainly took notice. However, Clark did not rely on that single appearance to carry the narrative forward.
Breaking women's basketball fashion news, Caitlin Clark in custom Prada for a time event. The fact that it's simple, it's timeless, but the back makes it so special and interesting. Of course, high fashion. She's gonna be in a Prada campaign soon though, I promise. It's Prada, so obviously the silhouette is fantastic, but this dress feels so Caitlin in the style that we've seen from her. It's minimalist, it's classy, it's timeless. The back is a freaking moment. I love that, and I love that Prada did a custom look. Obviously, follow off more women's basketball fashion news, but what do you think of this?
That is the element of this narrative that often gets overlooked when attention is placed solely on the Milan appearance. During her tenure with the Indiana Fever, she consistently returned to Prada in her tunnel walk looks, reinforcing the connection through repeated, intentional style choices.
I went with Prada. I think Prada's like very me, very like, I don't know. I'm a pretty simple girl, but Prada's never dressed a WNBA player or NBA player for the draft, so it's very fun. Got the simple white and then sparkly on the inside. But yeah, really fun. Got the bag, got the slick shoes, so yeah.
Game after game, her entrance looks became part of the conversation. Some nights, it was a simple white tank styled with strappy cargo pants, finished with the signature Prada triangle logo subtly incorporated into the outfit. Other times, she stepped out in a coordinated denim-on-denim Prada ensemble, accessorized with one of the brand's iconic black nylon bags to tie everything together. The repetition was purposeful, the styling carefully curated, and on every occasion, it captured attention. Clark's stylist, Audrey's Gerarda Toth, deserves significant recognition here, because building an authentic relationship with a luxury fashion house through Tunnel Walk Fashion goes far beyond simply purchasing designer pieces and wearing them. It requires a cohesive visual narrative. It demands a deep understanding of what the brand represents aesthetically and ensuring that every appearance strengthens that alignment rather than diluting it. Over the course of 2 years, Toth and Clark carefully crafted that story together, and the invitation to the Prada fashion show became the ultimate payoff for that sustained and intentional effort.
Your fashion news in a minute. Prada knows a good thing when they see it. Caitlin Clark makes fashion history by being the first person to ever wear Prada at a WNBA draft. Congratulations, Caitlin Clark, for being a first-round draft pick, Indiana Fever. We look forward to following your career. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Take care.
When Clark arrived at Milan's Fondazione Prada for the Fall 2026 show, she was not simply another celebrity occupying a front-row seat because of fame. She was someone who had spent 2 years steadily and intentionally proving that she understands the brand, respects its heritage, and wears it in a way that contributes to its broader cultural narrative rather than merely benefiting from its name. That distinction carries real weight within the fashion industry, even if it is not always openly acknowledged. Now, consider what Clark chose to wear, because the outfit itself deserves careful attention. She appeared in a cropped striped polo shirt, a deliberate selection that sits precisely at the crossroads of athletic influence and refined styling. The polo shirt is experiencing a significant resurgence in fashion, appearing across major runways as part of what insiders describe as a sportif, aesthetic, clothing that draws inspiration from athletic culture and movement without functioning as traditional sportswear. Clark's decision to wear a cropped polo to a Prada show was far from incidental. It signaled that she is fully aware of the current fashion dialogue and intentionally placed herself at its center. Clark styled the cropped polo with high-waisted trousers, secured with a Prada belt that subtly anchored the look. She carried a structured top-handle bag that closely echoed the accessories the models would later present on the runway in front of her. Draped over her shoulders was a wool overcoat, worn in that distinctly effortless fashion, not quite on, not quite off, that signals polish without appearing overstyled. She completed the ensemble with pointed-toe Prada heels, the same silhouette she chose on draft night 2 years earlier, a thoughtful callback to the origin of this partnership. The overall aesthetic struck a refined balance, sporty yet elevated, modern without feeling overly trend-driven. It was an outfit that photographed flawlessly in a front-row setting, but would feel just as natural on a city street. For someone attending her first major fashion show in Milan, achieving that level of balance on the first attempt is significant, and the importance of the front row itself should not be underestimated. Fashion shows are far more than mere entertainment. Front row seats are a highly curated social signal, communicating who truly belongs in a brand's world and who the brand chooses to publicly align with. Your placement at a show reveals exactly how the brand values its connection with you. Securing a front row seat at Prada in Milan is far from a participation trophy. It is a deliberate statement from one of the world's most exclusive fashion houses that this individual embodies something they want to be associated with. Clark earned that recognition through consistent, authentic engagement, not through a paid partnership or a single marketing stunt. This is the type of brand relationship that endures, especially in an industry that is exceptionally skilled at distinguishing genuine affinity from manufactured interest. Now it's time to address the haters, who predictably arrived right on cue. The criticism that surfaces whenever Clark ventures outside the basketball court follows a familiar pattern. It usually boils down to some variation of, she should focus solely on basketball, why is a basketball player attending a fashion show, or this is all marketing and therefore not authentic. These arguments are tired for many reasons, but let's tackle them head-on. First, the notion that athletes should confine themselves strictly to their sport, with no interests or identities beyond the court, is a standard applied selectively, and everyone knows it. Male athletes are rarely, if ever, questioned about their fashion choices, business ventures, or cultural engagements. The question of whether Clark belongs at a Prada show is rarely asked of athletes in other leagues who regularly occupy front-row seats at fashion weeks worldwide. This scrutiny is specific, and the reason for it is not particularly complex. Second, the authenticity argument collapses entirely when you examine the timeline. Clark was wearing Prada before anyone directed her to do so. Her relationship with the brand began on draft night, when she selected the outfit herself alongside her stylist. She continued to wear the brand consistently during tunnel walks over 2 seasons, long before any formal invitation was extended. This is the exact opposite of inauthenticity. It exemplifies what genuine brand affinity looks like when it is real rather than staged. Third, attending the Milan fashion show did not pull Clark away from basketball. She is currently in the off-season. The WNBA season does not begin until May. She attended Milan during the off-season. The backlash over her presence at a fashion show is essentially criticism for how she chose to spend her own time, a level of scrutiny and judgment no reasonable person should impose on another human being. But let's be honest about the underlying discomfort for some. Caitlin Clark is expanding beyond the boundaries that a segment of people assumed she would occupy when she entered the league. She is evolving into more than a basketball player. She is emerging as a cultural figure, a fashion presence, and a brand in her own right. That growth makes certain observers uneasy because it challenges their ability to contain or dismiss her. The Prada relationship is a key part of that expansion. Luxury fashion does not offer front-row invitations lightly.